And welcome back, everyone. It's time. You're here for Dragon Ball Z. What if? What if all the Z fighters were Saiyans? From, and I want to make sure I get the name right, Ghost the Juicy Game Boy Sadberry. As far as I could find, this was the only one who gave me the suggestion. Maybe I'm wrong. If you think you did, let me know. I'll look and see if I could find it, and I'll put it in the description box that you did suggest it. But yes, we're back. This was the overwhelming winner between this Tarble going to Earth instead of Goku, and what was the other one? That's a good question. I'm blanking on what the other one was. It doesn't matter. So yeah, the idea of what if all the Z fighters were, or what if the Z fighters were all Saiyans? So there's got to be a couple caveats here. One, we can't have Piccolo being a Saiyan. It just doesn't. From what the story of Piccolo is, he legitimately can't be a Saiyan. He's got to be Namekian. That's right out because that's right out the gate. Piccolo has to be exempt from this. From a story perspective, he just has to be. At least in this scenario. But it then begs the question, because he also doesn't start out as a Z fighter. You need to keep that in mind. But that does actually beg a big question of who do you classify as the Z fighters? Because that's shifted around a bit. When Gohan was born, Gohan didn't start out as a Z fighter, but only ultimately became one. Trunks is a Z fighter from the future. Boo is technically a part of the Z fighters when we get to Super. He just doesn't fight very often, but he is technically a member of the Z fighters. So do we count individuals like Roshi, who especially aided in the Tournament of Power? Anyone in the Tournament of Power, I would say, qualifies as a Z fighter. Even Frieza temporarily is a Z fighter. I mean, he's not a permanent member of the team, but if we're talking about anyone who lived on Earth, yeah, I'd consider him part of the Z fighters. So who do we count towards being Z fighters here? Obviously the obvious answer is still Goku. That's obvious. I think the answer for that, for me personally, is going to be Krillin is a Z fighter, definitely, so he's going to be a Saiyan. Yamcha counts as a Z fighter, at least for the early parts. He qualifies as a Saiyan. Tien and Chaozu, I think, both get to qualify for Z fighters. But individuals like Yajirobe, because even though Yajirobe did train with them a little bit during the Saiyan arc, leading into, Vegeta and Nappa's arrival, I don't think like Yajirobe counts towards that. Master Roshi, I feel like, is a weird gray area, because I feel like he's a Z fighter in part 1 in Dragon Ball, but only for like the first half. It's like after King Piccolo shows up and is gone, he's no longer a Z fighter. And for all of Z, he's not a Z fighter anymore. But then Super rolls back, and he's tapped to become a member of the team and becomes a Z fighter again. So I don't count Roshi. I don't think I'll count Roshi for this. I think Roshi actually not being a Z fighter is pretty good for reasons I'll get to in a little later in this particular what if. We're going to really focus on all of Dragon Ball to start with in this what if, so if I go a little long, that's fine. I really want to get all of Dragon Ball out of the way, because Dragon Ball is going to be the least important part of this what if, I think. It's really going to be leaning towards the future when we get like all the more power level numbers and all that I can work with. Which, by the by, real quick, someone asked me in my Q&A last month how I basically keep track of a lot of the stuff in my head. When it comes to the Dragon Ball Z what ifs, though, these are the types of what ifs, though, I will continue to write stuff down for until we essentially hit the levels of power where it's no longer advantageous for me to write those down, because keeping track of power levels, at least for the early part of the Dragon Ball Z what ifs, I think is important. With that being said, though, Goku, obviously, we would still start the story off the same way. Goku meets Bulma. Goku accidentally kills his grandfather. Sad. But things immediately change when we meet Yamcha, because Yamcha is a Saiyan. Now, there is one other thing I need to bring up about this. Goku hit his head and forgot he was a Saiyan, all that. I can't in all good conscience say that happens to all of them. That just makes no logical sense. Like, so they all hit their heads and forgot they were Saiyans? That's convenient. But no, is it statistically possible? I mean, we're dealing with 4 other individuals here. So is that statistically possible that out of them, there was a chance one of them hit their head. I think it's actually reasonably possible that another one of them may have accidentally had an accident like Goku. And if I were to guess which one it was, I'd actually say it's likely Krillin. Just because it's Krillin. And also because I think from a story perspective, it works better if it is Krillin. But point being is that Yamcha still attacks them in the desert. Now, Goku initially is starving, and he did actually almost lose that confrontation if Bulma hadn't shown up. And to be fair, I'm going to keep their personalities roughly the same, but they're going to be having Saiyan attributes along with, the knowledge that they're Saiyans added on there. So when Goku and him start fighting, they immediately realize, wait, he's just like me. And it's like, hold on. It's like, you're Saiyan too? Amazing. By the way, I'm not going to give them Saiyan names. They're going to be Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, and Krillin. Because I have to think of a fruit and vegetable, or do they use fruit, by the way? I don't think they ever used fruit. I think they only stuck with vegetables. Regardless, I'd have to think of a vegetable then for each of them, and I'm just not going to do that. They're going to be Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, and Krillin. It's like, you're another Saiyan here? Amazing. It's like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Wait, I never, and he just suddenly walks up. Why are you attacking? I mean, so wait, why are you attacking? Sorry, it's just how I get by in this. You have to get by in this wasteland. There's not a lot to eat around here. I'm lucky if I can snag a coyote now and then. Speaking of which, I'm starving. Want to come back to my place? It's like, what? And so he brings it back and just like, I never thought I'd meet another Saiyan. And Yamcha quickly meets Bulma, and she's just like, and he freaks out. It's like, oh God, sorry. It's Yamcha just gets a little nervous around Poir's there. Gets a little nervous around beautiful women. And Bulma's like, oh, well, sorry to make you look. No, it's fine. I'm gonna just close my eyes here as we keep talking. Anyway, Goku. That's a weird saying. That's a saying name, but I'm not one to talk. I mean, my name's Yamcha, so kind of not a standard Saiyan name to say the least. It's like you keep saying Saiyan. What is that? What is that? What do you mean? We're Saiyans, Goku. You remember, right? You were probably tasked here to conquer this planet, but like me, you were probably considered a runt and didn't really have much of a chance. And I think that's going to be the key reason all these Saiyans are here, Krillin, Tien, Chaozu, and Yamcha. They were all considered weak by Saiyan standards. And honestly, by Saiyan standards, even we're just looking at them as humans, they're still very weak by Saiyan standards. We know that because of the pendulum training that they did, because they got their asses handed to them by relatively low-level Saiyans. And they still got beat. So by Saiyan standards, if we're going with the same level of power they generally have here, minus one or two minor Zenkais they've had, they still be very weak by Saiyan standards. And so that's basically the logic they have here is that, well, you must have been like me on the weak side. They sent us here to conquer the planet, but it turns out this planet's got some really strong fighters on it. Fighters here. I wasn't able to do a damn thing. So I'm just making my way now. And he's pouring out. I keep doing this because he's like pouring drinks or something for him. And it's like, whoa, so what, wait, what do you, but I still don't understand. What's this saying? It's like, what, did you hit your head as a kid? Yeah, actually. Is it, what? You forgot everything about us, didn't you? And it's like, well, let me fill you in on the blanks. And he explains how we were saying we're actually not from this planet. We're from a different world. It's like, what, you're aliens? Yeah, indeed we are. Descended from the great apes themselves. I was like, wait, great apes? I was told that my grandfather was killed by a great ape. It's like, and your grandfather? The man who adopted me. Was it a Saiyan who did it? And Yamcha, understanding this is a very young kid here, realizes that, and by the way, there seems to be a thing with Saiyans being very tiny and then having dramatic growth spurts as they hit their teens and the younger adult years. We'll just say that there are clearly outliers for this too. We'll just say that a lot of them are outliers. How about that? And Krill's just going to remain short. Because that's funny. A very tiny Saiyan is actually very funny. And Yamcha realizes, oh no, he doesn't realize what he did. And he also realizes that I need to tell him, otherwise it's going to happen again. It's like, look, Goku, I don't know, and there's no easy way to say it, but I think you're the one who killed your grandfather. It's like, what? It's like, what do you mean? That's it. Bulma immediately he snaps it. How dare you say something like that to him? His grandfather's dead. You're just going to blame him? Hey. And Yamcha, despite getting, it's like, whoa. It's look, it wasn't actually his fault. And he explains the issue with Saiyans and the full moon. How we transform into giant ape monsters with the full moon. And Goku hears this, and unfortunately, what he's saying would make sense in this scenario. You're like, he vaguely does remember there was a full moon that night, and Goku is now kind of like, I killed Grandpa. Look, Goku, it wasn't your fault. I mean, we can't control it, and only the most elite of us can even control ourselves when we turn into those things. Generally speaking, it's a last resort weapon that's been used to just conquer planets. It's like you and Bulma's now getting fed up with Yamcha. It's like your people are nothing but conquering monsters and warlords. Is that it? Is that what you're saying? Giant ape people who just take lives and destroy or take and destroy lives. Is that it? It's like, Yamcha is like is feeling a little called out for this, but she's not wrong. Like, look, I'm not saying we're perfect, okay? Spent a lot of time on this planet ever since I was a baby too, all right? And honestly, this is probably at this point the only home I know. I lost community. My ship was damaged. By the way, I think that'd be another thing. I think the reason none of these guys have ever contacted Planet Vegeta, probably not even aware that Vegeta's destroyed right now, except maybe through attempts at communication, maybe in Tien and Yamcha's part, is that their ships got damaged along the way. That's another reason they're stuck here. I've tried to communicate with Planet Vegeta, but I get no response. The sad truth is, most likely, our home's gone. Probably destroyed in a meteor shower or something like that, or an asteroid colliding, whatever. But I'm not gonna try to make any defense for us. We are not the best of people. But I found this place has been pretty generous, all things considered. And granted, I live in a desert and like to prove that, but still. And so Goku's like, is there anything I can do? I was like, do? What do you? Oh, you mean like for the ape form? I can't really say much for that. I can't say I've tried training with it myself. There's no one around to stop me if I were to go berserk. Par here can help a little bit, but I mean, the only effective way to stop us would be to cut off our tail, and that's not something you want to do unnecessarily. If you were to go up against someone who you can't beat, it's still not a bad it's still not a bad trick to have. And he shows off that he can make the false moon. It's like, yeah, every one of us when we're young is taught to do this. It's called making the artificial moon. It can induce our transformation if we need it. It's like, whoa. It's like I could show you how to do it. And Goku's like, no, I don't want to turn into that thing again. I don't want to turn it. I'm not going to look at the moon. I do not want to be that monster. It's like, I can't blame you. Still, what are you guys doing out here anyway? Now that he's finally explained everything. He's like, oh, we're looking for the Dragon Balls. Like, Dragon Balls? It's like, you get a perfect wish. One wish? It's like, really, there's so much I could do. It's like, there's so much you can do. We could fix the ship, or we could get back home, or we could, or we could conquer. No, we're not. Yamcha's not in the conquering kind of mood. He's not in the conquering mindset. He's not a conqueror, really. He's kind of just made his way here, and he's honestly, I'd make his way here. Or, a nice size supply of meat. And even Goku's like, ooh, that one sounds nice. It's like, well, too bad. I'm getting the wish. You got a problem with that, buddy? No, ma'am. No. Still, I mean, I suppose I could tag along with you if nothing else. Why, you gonna try to say, no, I mean, look, I'm a desert bandit, but like I said, there's not much we can try to scavenge out here. Not a lot of people come through anyway, and the food is scarce as it is. His stomach kind of growls, takes a little bit of his rations. And believe me, we Saiyans, we have an appetite. You have no idea. I haven't been able to fight at my full strength forever. It's like, I know what you mean. It's like, well, we got plenty of stuff on the bus, and she activates it, and they're chowing down. And so Yamcha joins them on their quest, which makes the boss carrot scenario a lot easier. And ultimately, they find themselves stuck with Pilaf. They get trapped, and they can't get out of here. Like they're just stuck. And Yamcha glances, but quickly is like, "Don't look up, Goku." It's like, "What do you mean? It's like, oh, the moon's full. You could get out of here, but we'd have to transform, and if that's the case, it's not going to end well." I was like, but we need to get out of here. And Yamcha's like, I have an idea, Goku. If you look at the moon, I promise, I'll take your tail off. It's like, but you said taking your tail off's bad, only because you won't be able to turn into an ape again. But you should be fine otherwise. It's like, all right, fine. And Goku stares, and they get ready, and sure enough, he turns into the ape. rampages. Yamcha comes in, just ultimately takes his tail out. Pilaf ultimately, or Ulan gets his wish of the world's most comfortable pair of underwear, and all's well that ends well. And so now you get, they go their separate ways for now. Goku goes to train with Roshi after meeting Roshi, obviously. He meets Roshi, but then Krillin shows up saying, I've come to train with the great Master Roshi. Well, I normally only take one student, but I suppose if you'd be willing to prove yourself. I'm sorry, by the way, my hair's been a little weird, so if you see me just brushing the back of my head, that's why. It just feels off. By the way, I never did find out where that wasp went, so he's still in here somewhere. He's either going to die in my windowsill, or I'm going to get stung in my bed. One of the two. And you're all probably wondering, like, is he serious? Like, yeah, I'm serious. There's a wasp hanging out here somewhere, and I can't find him. But my guess is he's probably behind my window shade. And if he can't get out of that, then he's pretty much just gonna die of starvation back there. And that's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna try to find him and squish it. If he wants to just suffer his own fate, that's his own deal. I digress, though. Goku, though, immediately notices with Krillin after the fact that when they finally go swimming, he's like, wait, you have a tail. Like, yeah, what of it? I was born with it. I was like, wait, that would mean you're a Saiyan like me. A what? What are you talking about? Wait, well, I mean, I met another guy with a tail. You did? Yeah, and I used to have one too. You're lying. No, wait, look, see? And you can see the little mark where the hole is. Like, well, wait, what happened to it? Oh, it had turned into a giant ape, and he had to cut it off before I hurt people. And Krillin's like, what? Wait, you never looked at the full moon? Oh, I mean, I looked at it like once or twice. I don't remember much what happened there, but needless to say, I got kicked out of a lot of monasteries for some reason. I don't remember quite why. Well, it's like, and Goku's like, well, apparently you turned into a monkey. It's like, what? What are you talking about? You're so weird. Goku has to explain to him, like, exactly what he is. Like, he still doesn't believe it. Like, tell you what, when we go to the World Martial Arts, I'll invite Yamcha over, and he'll explain everything. It's like, yeah, whatever. And so they're training, and because Krillin is a Saiyan here, one minor difference is their power levels are probably a little higher. Not by much. I think Goku was, like, around 100. Krillin's, like, about the same, a little weaker. I couldn't quite remember. Maybe a little stronger. Here they might be like 110, 120. Still, Roshi's going to end up beating both of them. But the important thing ultimately that comes about from this is A, Goku's going to grow his tail back because of his fight with Roshi. And B, Krillin does meet Yamcha, who also has a tail. It's like, wait, what? He's like, wait, he doesn't remember? No, apparently he must have had some accent like me. It's like, accent? What do you mean? It's like, did you have like an accent where you hit your head as a kid? Why? What are you trying to imply? Nothing. It's just what? And you better sit down for this. And he explains it again. And this time, ultimately, after seeing Goku turn into the ape form, he finally says, like, wait, so I'm a alien? I'm a monster? No. You're only when the moon comes up. But just don't look at the moon. It's like, ah. So Krillin has his existential crisis about this, but ultimately overcomes it. Now we're gonna skip through the Red Ribbon Army arc because honestly, Goku's really the only main player in that. I think Yamcha and Krillin show up briefly in that, but Goku's the main player, so not much is gonna change from that. Goku again would be a little bit stronger here, but not by much. However, things take a very interesting turn when we hit the next tournament, because that enters the Crane School with Tien and Chaozu. And Tien and Chaozu both meet Goku and they see Krillin and Yamcha, and they can both feel the energy. They can't feel energy yet, but they can kind of get a vibe off them. It's like, wait, and then they see the tails coming off of both. It's like, wait, you're Saiyans? Like, more. So there are other Saiyans. So there are other Saiyans on this planet, Chaozu. Interesting. Indeed, Tien. Well, you definitely looks like Chaozu. You definitely don't look like a normal Saiyan to me. It's like, what, is that makeup you put on? It's like, no, I just look this way. It's like, what are you idiots doing? You should be trying. And are you honing your skills in this tournament so we can finally take this planet? Finally take the. What are you talking? I mean, and they realize, oh no. This guy's still on the mission. because of how serious and like revenge-driven Tien kind of was in the original, I actually think as a Saint, he is a bit more dedicated to the mission here. However, it's like, well, that begs the question: what are you doing here? And plus with this guy, I'd like to know that as well, young man. And there's Roshi. It's like, we acknowledge that some of the fighters on this planet were pretty powerful. It's taken years for us to be able to overcome them and to learn how to overcome them. So when this old man accepted me into his school for training, I'd be a fool not to do that. Increase my own power by learning his skills so I can eventually take him down. Of course. Of course. But of course, he's got his hands on his back. It's like, of course, that's what I would do. And you're okay with this, Crane? If it means that they defeated the Turtle School, then I'll be more than willing to take anyone, or any student. Besides, and of course, Crane's even like, and besides, I wouldn't teach him everything I knew. A man's got to be able to protect himself, after all. This is in his head. And like, we'll see you in the tournament. That's like, and so you're honing your skills in this. Very smart. This is really the only reason I've joined this, is to continue to grow in strength, so I can conquer this planet. It's like, that's not the way, man. It's like, what? Have you forgotten your purpose? Your pride as Saiyans? No. Of course, unbelievable. I suppose I'll have to beat some sense back into you in the arena. And so, those two matches come. Roshi would get out of his match with Tien around the same time he normally did. And Tien just saying probably, you walk out on a fight, old man? Very well. His fight with Yamcha also goes about the same, including the leg break, which, oof. But ultimately, it would come down to, and Goku and Krillin ultimately fight it out. Goku wins the match because he also got the experience dealing with the Red Ribbon Army, which Krillin didn't get. So Goku and Tien both square off, and their fight starts to go about the same. It's like, yeah, how dare you? You're a traitor to your kind. It's like, didn't you hear Yamcha and I'm sure they would have a conversation. Planet Vegeta's gone, and we wouldn't be conquering. There's no point in conquering anymore. It's like, Planet Vegeta is not gone. We've just lost communication with it. And Yamcha's even, Vegeta's gone, okay? Just deal with it. It doesn't change a thing. We are Saiyans. We are warriors and we're conquerors. We'll take this planet, and there will be no one to stop us. Not even you. And Goku finally is kind of fed up with this, and kind of just, boom, starts to lay into Tien, just beats on him for a bit until Chaozu, because it's still Chaozu, he should still have the same abilities. That's the kind of what we're playing with here. Starts, temporarily stopping Goku's heart, because that's what was actually happening. It wasn't that he was giving like indigestion. Chaozu was in that fight with Krillin. Chaozu was stopping his heart temporarily. That's what was happening. So regardless, and Crane is basically, making him do this. And finally, Tien is starting to kind of wise up to say, Chaozu, how dare you? It's like, have you? It's like, I may want to defeat them. I may despise what they stand for right now. But have you no shame or honor? Where is your pride as a Saiyan? I'd say, I will not let you interfere with this old man. And Krillin, obviously, Roshi blasts Crane out of there. And Goku finally stands up. And Tien looks at him, and he can still see that Saiyan warrior pride burning in him. He's kind of like a proto-Vegeta here. He's nowhere near as bad, and we'll get to that as time goes on. I can see it in you. I can see it in you, Goku. That pride of we say, that fire, that passion, that eagerness for battle we all have. I will not let my honor be besmirched by dirty tactics. So, I ask you, take your revenge on me. It's like, what? It's like, for every hit I dished out on you when you were unable to fight, I ask you to do the same. We will fight as equals. I will not defend. And Goku looks at him and like, you're sure? It's like, my pride as a warrior, I will not go back on my word as a warrior. And so he, lays the smack down. And Goku's counting it, making sure he's got the same amount of punches and kicks. And so they're like, very good, Goku. Now, let us continue. And they clash. And now it's, even though Tien is still very much like, no, we're the better race here. He's getting that warrior's respect for Goku. They're clashing, they're going out, and they're actually kind of laughing. It's like, ha ha! It's like, it's over! Shin Gekko! And the blast the arena, only for Goku to be up in the air. And obviously he blasts Tien. Goku then, hits is about to hit the ground, but Tien was about to hit it first. The truck comes, and the winner is Tien. They are dragged back out, and ultimately, Tien basically commends Goku for his performance. if that truck had been there, you would have won, Goku. I keep wanting to say Kakarot, but these guys don't know his Saiyan name, so they're calling him by his name, Goku. I suppose I'll have to be training even harder next time, because as it stands, there's a warrior stronger than me on this planet, and I can't have that. Just promise, I'll fight you any day, any time, Tien. But for now, just leave the conquering, put the conquering aside. Just try to live and try to actually enjoy what this planet has to offer. And Yamcha walks over there along the crowd and says, "He's right, Tien. There's more to this world than just conquering. I mean, there's a lot." He's kind of like glancing a lot more. I still don't believe what you're saying, but I will at least consider it. He's like, I need a nap now. And so they go, and now we go into the King Piccolo arc. I don't personally believe there's a lot of difference with the King Piccolo arc. Krillin, however, does still get taken out. Chaozu also gets taken out. They put their bodies in stasis so they can bring him back. King Piccolo comes. Unfortunately, even with Tien's strength, he's not enough to take King Piccolo. Neither is Goku. However, Yamcha, and Yamcha and Tien both realize that, okay, if we transform, we can probably take this guy. However, Piccolo notes what they're doing. Kami didn't know when they were Saiyans, I don't think. Didn't know Goku was a Saiyan. At least I don't think he did. But again, I think I brought this up before. Because if Kami knows what a Saiyan is, by admission, Piccolo must know what a Saiyan is. And must know that, oh, wait a minute. Okay, you know what? I'm going to Google that right now, because that's a really good question we need to ask here, because that is going to drastically impact what's about to happen here. Did Kami know Goku was did Kami know Goku was a Saiyan? So Google, what do you have for an answer for me? Let's find out. Okay, did Kami know Goku was a... Either Kami didn't know or he simply felt it was for the best. Goku is not really one to dwell on things. He originally thought he'd be abandoned and just laugh it off. Yeah, okay. So, this is the AI overview. Yes, Kami from Dragon Ball knew Goku was not from Earth. Kami's faith in humanity was restored after meeting Goku, even though he personally thought humans were selfish and distrustful. Well, okay, that's an AI's interpretation. The Kaizenshu, what does the Kaizenshu say? Why did Kami not tell Goku he was not from Earth? Because here's the thing, as the guardian of the planet, you would think he would have known that. As a god, only 11 player. It's not Mr. Popo who told them about it. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. Why did Kami not tell? As a god, he can probably tell the person isn't human. He should have known about the alien space pod landing as soon as he reached. Might be wrong here, but also failed to know that he was an alien as well. Here are panels depicting Kami talking about his real identity and highlighting key parts. Perhaps one of my ancestors on planet Namek. So the implication seems to be that he did in fact know Goku at least was an alien. Maybe he didn't know exactly what type of alien he was. Like, he didn't know he was a Saiyan. But the implication does seem to be that he knew Goku wasn't of Earth, which would make sense. And that would also mean that because of all the pods that come here, he's probably been paying attention and maybe even seen these Saiyans transforming points. Now, that doesn't mean King Piccolo would have that kind of information. But I have a feeling he's got enough instincts and wherewithal to realize, oh, they're transforming. How could they be? And they looked at the tails. He's old. He's probably got a high battle IQ. He might be able to blast the tails, and just as they're transforming, they stop. What? No! So that's the way it is. Very well then. You're not of this planet either. I don't know exactly what you are, but my voice isn't my King Piccolo. I haven't heard King Piccolo's voice in a while. It sounds a bit more like this, but it sounds like Piccolo, but it's a bit gruffer and more evil. It's something along those lines. And basically kind of takes out Yamcha, dude, killing Yamcha. Tien's able to make it out alive. Ultimately, Goku would still come back from a training with, the Ultra Divine water drinking, and beat and nearly kill King Piccolo, resulting in Kamikolo. Not Kamikolo, but resulting in Piccolo Jr. Everyone gets brought back with the Dragon Balls thanks to Kami. Goku would train on the lookout for years. Now, immediately when we're talking about power levels, Tien's stronger here. Krillin is also stronger. Chaozu's stronger. And Yamcha's stronger. I'll put actually Yamcha around his Saiyan Saga power level. Now, you might not think that's a lot, but keep in mind, we actually we only have like 2 power levels ranked for Yamcha, which is that Scouter that when Bulma was using the Scouter on him, and then when the Saiyans used the Scouter on him. Those are the only 2 confirmed power levels that I know of for Yamcha. So to say that he's the level of power that he'd be at 5 years down the road, I don't think is a stretch with a Zenkai. I don't think that's a stretch at all. Plus, he probably is still training being a Saiyan warrior. Krillin would also be a bit stronger here. Tien is also much stronger. Well, maybe not too much stronger, but he's stronger than he was when he fought Goku here. And Goku being a little bit stronger here as well would also be stronger. Which prior to the fact he would still be stronger. Which means he's still going to end up beating Tien. I think Tien, having trained a bit with Krillin and Goku and Yamcha, not enough to be getting any surrealist Zenkais, but just enough that they're all kind of increased in strength, has tempered out a little bit and has kind of given up on the aspiration of conquering the world. Piccolo, though, not so much. And so they all are duking it out. Goku would still ultimately end up beating Piccolo. And all's well that ends well on that front. And that's where we're going to leave it. This was the setup chapter, really. Because if they're all the Z Fighters, or all our main Z Fighters here, are Saiyans, I have to lay out the big groundwork. There's definitely some changes. There's definitely some character changes in terms of their personality. Nothing too drastic. And most importantly, for the next time, the power level is going to be jacked up. Because they're all Saiyans, which means they can all access Saiyan transformations. And more importantly, in this case, at least for the early parts of Z, Zenkais. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And we'll see what happens next time when Radz finds not just his brother, but an entire gaggle of Saiyans, or whatever you call a group of Saiyans. Pod? Pride? Troop? Because they're monkeys? Who knows? Until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.